folks. Welcome back to another edition of Bullet Points. I'm one of your hosts today, Kevin Nasseri, here with Rob Ryan and Bye from Mike Bunt. We're going to be breaking down the big game here, 2 versus 7 at 4:35 tip after an overtime game earlier, 1 versus 8 game. A pretty good game, considering the second game was not so good, with Ohio playing a much maligned and interesting Kent team. What's going on there, we don't know, but Ohio moves on to play Toledo in a pretty good battle tomorrow. That'll be a good one to go to the MAC finals. But now we're here to talk about the real game of the day, and that is UB Miami. Rob, what's going on today? What are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward. Hopefully, we have a full 40-minute game. We've had those games this year where we've only really played 20, 25 minutes for like full team wise. The last few weeks we have gotten that back. 5 straight, 8 of the last 9, or 9 of the last 10, or something like that. So we're really looking good, and I'm just looking to see some more bench play today, because that's, I think, what we struggled in the past. We've picked it up recently. Hopefully, we have a full team game as we've had in the last few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And Mike's probably riding the high over there with his Bobcats taking a pretty easy victory. But going to this game, Mike, what do you want to see, early on in this one as the 2 versus 7 redemption story? What's on the top of your bucket list here for this game?
I'll tell you what I don't want to see. I don't want to see Miami, Ohio upset UB once again like they did last season in the 12-5 game. I was the camera guy underneath the basket for those contests last year, doubleheader, and that was as disappointing as it got. The only relief was that UB somehow still gets to call themselves the defending MAC tournament champs. But I'm just expecting a good effort by UB. I expect to win this game, play well, just get off to a strong start and let their stars be stars. Play comfortable. Don't worry about what Miami can do. Just play your own brand of basketball.
And that's fair enough, and that's what you have to do. What we don't want to see in this game, guys, is that ISO ball, that dangerous ISO ball where they push everyone to the side and go one-on-one with a Miami, Ohio defender. Some of the early rankings have Buffalo 80% to 20% in this game, with the line being at 8.5 points right now. So that's a pretty big number. 3 second-team All-MAC players on the roster here, and Josh Mballa being the defensive player of the year in the MAC. Did you see that coming, Rob? I mean, we know he played pretty well defensively, but did you think he was the number 1 defensive player in the MAC?
No, I was shocked. I knew, like, he has his steals, he gets his rebounds, but he's more of the offensive kind of rebounder. He's not really that defensive guy, so I was shocked when I saw that.
Yeah, it was interesting, too, because even in his highlight clip, half of the highlights were on offense.
Yeah, it was all offense.
So it's interesting. Interesting reward for him. There's a lot of MAC teams that don't play particularly good branded defense. Toledo doesn't, Ohio doesn't, and Kent didn't today. So we'll see. Akron certainly doesn't. So Miami might be one of those teams that tries to. So, Mike, are you worried that their defense, they're going to put the offense aside because they know they probably can't match up with UB after losing double digits twice? Are they going to try to do a grinded out game, one of those real slow, shoot with 3 seconds left on the shot clock? Is that how you see Miami playing this?
I mean, they could, but I don't know how that benefits them either, because even if you do have some success early, if you can't get it done offensively, you're just going to delay the inevitable. And if you get down behind 10, that's going to only make you speed things up and then change your entire style. I don't know if that really is the way Miami wants to play. They've been a decent team this year. I don't think they're one of the better teams in the MAC by any stretch. I think this game strictly falls on how does UB handle the pressure of playing in Cleveland. As long as they're making their shots, they're executing their offense, I really don't see a scenario where Miami's going to win, especially with how strong UB has been playing defensively of late.
That's true. UB went to Miami, won 90-62 earlier this season, right before that Syracuse overtime game. And then a little bit later in the midseason, they won 88-64. So 2 20-point plus victory wins. Is that something you're worried about, Rob? Is 3 times really hard to do? Is it something that creeps up in your mind, or is it one of those things that UB's probably 20 plus points better? Miami's played pretty good basketball down stretch, winning 4 of 5, kind of beating up the bottom of the MAC, but that's what you have to do to get in the tournament. You worried about that 3-game thing, or is that not a realistic thing when it comes to the MAC tournament?
No, I definitely think Buffalo has more of the chip on their shoulder from Miami beating them the 12-5 last year than Miami losing twice to them this year. Miami hasn't beat a team in the top 5 all year. They were 0-whatever against the top 5, so I'm not too worried. It's not a team that really matches up size well. They have a few good players that get all their points. they don't have much bench help, so I'm not really too worried.
And how about you, Mike? What is your opinion on that? Watching, whether it's Ohio, UB, Kent, whoever. What's your opinion on having to beat somebody 3 times, and them having everything? They can play loose. They have nothing to lose again, like we saw last year. But they don't have a Nike Sabandi or a Eugene German to come in here and get it done like some of the teams last year did. Is that going to haunt them? As really their top scorers, D.D. Grant, Delonte Brown, Mikey Larry, a couple of guys who can get it done, but not to the level of a Nike Savandi.
I'm not really worried about the 3 games in 3 days if you get to the finals. I'm not really worried about opponent stars. When it's in Cleveland, it's about, are you playing your best basketball? I saw 9 seed Ohio get to the MAC championship when I was a freshman in college in 2010 and win, then end up beating Georgetown. So really, it's just about playing your best basketball at the time, which UB is playing the hottest basketball in the entire MAC right now. Toledo, for crying out loud, almost lost to Ball State today. So I have confidence in this Bulls team. Their top guys are probably the best in the MAC when they're on their game, as far as talent, as far as potential. I think guys like Mbala are going to be almost unstoppable in Cleveland. If you're playing 2 or 3 days in a row, what big man is going to be able to keep up with a guy like that? Graves is from Cleveland. This is meant for him to come out strong. And guys like Segou and Williams, they've been waiting for this big opportunity since they came to UB. Freshman year, they were kind of overshadowed by the rest of the big shots at UB. Last year, they never had that opportunity in Cleveland, and now this is their chance. I expect them all to come out strong. As far as COVID and other things and playing a lot of games in a short period of time, I feel like they got all that out of their system. They've dealt with a lot of adversity, and I think they'll be ready to go. I do have to get back to work now, so I'm going to just give my quick prediction.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I don't think UB has to worry about getting upset today, but based on my track record, anybody betting should be worried based on what I'm going to pick here. I think UB is going to win this one, something like 85-72. I think they're going to win comfortably, which means it's probably going to be a nail biter, and we're going to be worried with a few minutes left to go. But go Bulls, and hopefully we'll see them in the MAC semifinals tomorrow. I'll let you guys take over from here.
Thanks, Mike.
See you later.
And it's good to have Mike on here for his opinion as we are in the pregame show here, tip for 4:35. So we have a few more minutes here to talk. Rob, is there a certain player, we like to do this in each game, is there a certain player you need to see against this Miami, Ohio squad? I mean, I usually point to Ronaldo Segou, kind of the fourth link in the situation. And is there someone you want to see? I mean, we talked a little bit about Mbala, but who needs to go off today for you? Or is it a bench player? What are you thinking in terms of if you had to point to a specific player to really get going right now?
I keep saying it every game, and lately he's been coming through. I think it's still got to be Jayvon Graves. He's the senior. He's the captain. He's been here before. He's won it twice, once as a starter. So he knows how to do it, and I think he has to lead this team because everyone else on this team, I mean, they've been in the tournament. They lost last year, and then the year before, Rondo and Janathan didn't play. So Jayvon's the only one, and I think he has to carry us through.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a fair point. He did receive his second team honors. It was good to see that, as well as Mbala and as well as Janathan Williams, 2 guys that also joined his club for that. So, you have 3 guys in the top 10. Really, realistically, in the conference, you do not have the top 6 guy. They had 7th, 8th, and 9th in voting as per the way it went down. So, will that come back to, that's one thing I want to talk about. Miami is the other team that didn't have anyone in the top 6 that's in the tournament. Is that going to come back to haunt them that they don't have a top 6 guy? Maybe it won't today, but is that going to come back to haunt them, especially tomorrow or beyond?
No, I think at least Josh should have been in the top 5 or the top 6. Okay. He won Defensive Play of the Year. I mean, they had like Jason Preston, I think in like, he was like the 5th or the 4th. He barely played this year. He was either on a COVID break or something. So, and he's still a junior. I mean, Josh is also, but that he should have been bumped up over Jason Preston. But I mean, I don't think it's gonna. I think that's another chip on their shoulder that one of them should have been up there. And I mean, that's just all you got to do. But for who is the player you're looking for today and this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for that Eugene German, Nike Sabandi performance, as we alluded to earlier, and we saw a little bit of it from Marion Jackson in Toledo. They do not get it done without one of the best players in the league, in the conference. And I'm going to have to turn it over now to our correspondent, Maniac, who is going to come in with us.
Oh, my God.
He is in disguise. So let's bring in Maniac here and see what great thing he's gonna overlay for us.
Folks, what
Maniac
going on?
Oh, my God.
mask. We got winter hat, mask / sunglasses. What's up with that?
Folks, well, we got to support the Bulls. There is never a good time to go under the knife, but we got LASIK eye surgery. The Bulls are seeing clearly in Cleveland. They are going to cruise today. I'm looking for a big horns up victory.
Nice. Tip for 4:35. We're about 10 minutes away here from tip off. Maniac, what's your key to the game? What's your player to watch? Give us a score prediction.
Really just two keys to the game, I would say. Strong start for UB. We know that psychologically, when they get ahead, they're pretty confident and they can kind of dictate the pace from there. And honestly, it's the defensive end. I think that, this team's defense, not to say that it's underachieved all season, but they've just kind of filled it up so much that defense has almost become an afterthought. And I don't want to say that to this group because I know Rondo, Graves, and Balla, they all take a great amount of pride in the defense they play. So I'm expecting that to really show up in Cleveland, really to show up in a big way for these Bulls who, as we all know, Al has locked in as a plus 275 favorite to win.
I did see that ticket that he played. Maniac, give us a final score prediction today and why.
I am going to go UB wins 75-67.
75.
And again, why is I think they get out to a strong start, but I think they play solid defense. I think that's something that Weitzel and this coaching staff wants to focus on in Cleveland. I think they know they have the depth scoring that if they can execute on the defensive end, they'll be in a good position in any game.
Then you have Stevie Business. I want to get a final question in for you. Well, what's going on? Why are you in bed? Was it John Warrow related?
No, just recovering. I can see fine. I got LASIK eye surgery this morning, but apparently you're supposed to be resting. You're supposed to be taking it easy. So I just decided, hey, if I'm taking it easy, I'm chilling. Might as well chime in with my boys here on the BP pregame show.
And no better way to take it in and be chilling, putting on your computer and watching ESPN Plus at 4:35. UB take on Miami. Score prediction, Rob. What do you have going on? I think it's that time. We've heard Mike. We've heard Maniac. What do you have for us?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a nice 80 Bulls victory, a nice 84-73. I think we're going to come out fast. I think at the end of the first half, we might slow down a little bit. They might come back a little bit. Oh, Prince Phillips making an appearance. And then the second half, we're going to have our usual second half where we come in strong and we continue it. Maybe a little weak at the end, but we still win by, what did I say, 11?
Yep. So I have it a little bit closer like Maniac does. I got 80-71. It's been a number that's been sticking out for me with the specific way that these teams play. I do think Miami will try to slow it down, even though Mike mentioned it not being the best way to beat UB. If you're going to limit their possessions and not turn the ball over yourself, I think that gives you a really good chance. I have 80-71, and it's that final 5 minutes too. So we talked about that beginning stretch of the game. That final 5 minutes is where they have historically struggled under this regime. So you need to see that change today. It starts today. It didn't happen last year in the tournament where they had some defensive lapses late in the game leading to a victory for Miami. Type likes to say that never happened, but I can't erase that play out of my mind watching them score on us at home to win and have the upset leading to no more 9 through 12 in the tournament. So I don't know. We'll see. DeMac did not like that very much. But 80-71 is going to be the score I have here today. I do think they're going to do enough to get it done and match up for a third performance against Bowling Green potentially tomorrow, both men and women. We could see that happen. I do think Bowling Green will pull that one out against Akron. So a lot to look forward to here today. Final note, Maniac, give us something there as you're laying down thinking about this.
Well, just the one thing I'm thinking about is that a week ago when these matchups started, we were very pleased that women's was taking on Kent State and men's was taking Miami because, they weren't going to go into these matchups sleeping. Both these teams eliminated them last year. You saw it with a strong start for the women's yesterday. Obviously, they didn't have the finish they wanted. But, again, I think that really plays into the benefit for the men's day. I do not think you'll see a slow start. And as we all know, they can start in the second half. They typically come out at halftime pretty strong. It's exactly what you said, Kev. I think they'll be in a position to win the game with 5 minutes to go. Can they close it out?
That's fair enough. Rob, leave us with a final thought.
I think they just got to go in, play Buffalo basketball, come out 40 minutes later with a win, and move on to tomorrow. Simple enough.
That's it. 5 minutes away, and that's how we're going to leave it with those two final thoughts there for you. They do need to continue to get off to a fast start and end the game well. It's pretty cliche, but for this specific team, that's where they struggle the most. That's what we need to see here today. But from Trainwreck Sports, I'm your host, Kevin. That's Rob. That's Maniac from Bed. Horns up. Go Bulls.